The feeling does not announce its departure. There is no single moment of crisis. No dramatic event marks its end. Instead, motivation simply fades. It recedes slowly, often unnoticed, until its absence becomes a plain and undeniable fact of daily existence. The energy that once propelled tasks forward seems to have evaporated, leaving behind a quiet but persistent resistance. A day that would have been productive now feels heavy, each action requiring a deliberate and conscious effort that was previously automatic. This is not a story of failure or collapse, but of a subtle, creeping inertia that settles over ordinary life, making the familiar feel foreign and draining. This gradual decline is a common human experience. It is often misinterpreted as a personal failing, as a sign of weakness or a lack of discipline. We tend to believe that motivation is a resource we must generate from within, a fire that we are solely responsible for keeping lit. When the flame flickers and dies down, the immediate assumption is that we have done something wrong. It is the feeling of pushing against an invisible barrier, a friction that has appeared from nowhere yet now seems to be everywhere, turning even the most routine activities into a negotiation with oneself. This phenomenon challenges our conventional understanding of drive and ambition to find our why. But what happens when that why becomes quiet? But simply because the tank is empty? It might instead be pointing to a flaw in the very system we use to sustain our efforts over time. The conventional narrative around motivation is one of emotion and willpower. When these feelings are absent, we are left adrift, waiting for the right mood to strike. But what if the source of this persistent drag is not emotional, but structural? What if the problem is not a lack of internal desire, but an absence of external support? It suggests that the energy required for action is not infinite, and that our daily systems can either conserve or deplete it. The feeling of being unmotivated may simply be the feeling of being exhausted by 1,000 tiny choices. Consider the hidden cost of deciding. Each moment we spend debating what to do next, how to start, or whether to continue, is a small expenditure of mental energy. The internal conversation, should I start now or in 5 minutes? Should I work on this project or answer that email first? Consumes the very willpower needed to perform the work itself. This process of constant internal negotiation is a form of friction. It slows momentum and makes the path of action feel far steeper than it actually is. The struggle is not with the task, but with the endless prelude to it. If the problem is a poorly designed system, then the solution lies in redesigning it. Instead of trying to feel better, we might need to build better. This involves creating frameworks that reduce the need for in-the-moment decision-making. It means establishing routines, protocols, and clear, predetermined plans of action that can guide us when emotional energy is low. It is an exploration into how structure, not feeling, can become the primary engine of progress, allowing us to operate effectively even on days when motivation is nowhere to be found. When motivation fades, another force can take its place. This force is structure. The first task of the day is no longer a matter for debate. It is the task assigned to that specific time slot. The internal negotiation is silenced because the decision was made days or weeks in advance. The core principle of a structured system is pre-decision. It is the act of making choices in advance, far from the heat of the moment. When the morning arrives, there is no debate about where to start. The plan is already set. This transforms the first action of the day from a daunting, open-ended question into a simple, closed instruction. The daily supply of willpower is not depleted by 1,000 tiny negotiations before the most important work even begins. Instead, that energy is available for deeper focus and more complex problem-solving. The feeling of being overwhelmed recedes, replaced by a sense of quiet control that comes not from heightened effort, but from simplified logistics. The need to get motivated or psych oneself up becomes obsolete, replaced by the simple, undramatic act of following a routine. Just as a heavy flywheel, once set in motion, requires little energy to keep spinning, a consistent routine builds its own inertia. This dispassionate process allows for movement even when one feels tired, bored, or entirely uninspired. Ultimately, this is a more honest and reliable way to sustain effort over long periods. By building a structure that facilitates movement without persuasion, one creates a safety net. The work continues not because of a sudden surge of desire, but because the system is designed for it to continue. When action is decoupled from desire, a new emotional landscape emerges. The constant chatter of self-negotiation and the emotional weight of self-persuasion have been silenced by the system. The satisfaction comes not from a distant achievement, but from the immediate act of executing the plan. Structure replaces the chaotic sprints with a steady, predictable pace. A low-energy day is no longer a catastrophe. It is simply one data point in a much larger pattern of consistent effort. The system is designed not for maximum speed, but for maximum endurance. The ultimate benefit of operating within a structure is the preservation of capacity. Someone within an efficient structure has spare capacity. They are more adaptable, more robust. This preserved capacity also improves rest. When the workday ends, it is truly over. The alternative is to shift our focus from the internal landscape of feeling to the external architecture of our daily lives. The goal is not to try harder, but to create an environment where trying is easier. It is an acknowledgement that consistent action is not born from a constant feeling, but from a constant and reliable structure that quietly does the work in the background. The conclusion we arrive at is not a grand, inspiring revelation, but a quiet, mechanical one. The work continues, not from sudden passion, but because the plan dictates it. It is the deliberate construction of a path of least resistance toward our goals. The system once built quietly continues. Progress becomes a constant.